Hey everyone, welcome back to episode number 3 in our Beginner to Bossing series. This is the series where I show you step by step getting a character from level 1 all the way up to 200 and also killing the Chaos Rutabaga bosses. So hopefully if you're a newer player, returning player, or someone that just wants to see the progression of a new character, then this is going to help you out. I made this series initially under the impression that there's not going to be an event going on, but chances are there's a 100% chance that you're going to be going on during an event, which is why I had to put this before the start of the video because I forgot to do this, at least on camera. So once your character does hit level 101, you can participate in the event, and like I said, there's practically a 100% chance that there's some type of event going on for you while you're playing. So for us, it's Night Troop right now. At level 101, as you can see here, you can go and participate in the event. This time around, it is an event that gives you extra damage and extra XP while you're leveling, and it gives some free goodies, so just try to participate in any way you can and keep up to date with all of this so you're getting all the rewards you can possibly get. It is extremely common though that a lot of the events, especially like the one coming up in the winter for us here in GMS, is going to give you a bunch of XP multipliers or modifiers. So let me go over that real quick because you can either skip the first half, second half, or even just the entire leveling process. So let me go over that real quick because you might want to take advantage of that. I made this video series showing you the entire process so that if you don't have these options, you still know what to do. That being said, if you do have any of these options I'm about to go over, I would highly recommend just using those. That's what I do personally. So we can take a look at some of the items because the current event doesn't give us these items that I'm about to show you, but most of them do. So if we take a look at the daily gifts, you can claim these once per day after killing 300 mobs. And the things that I wanted to show you first off is XP coupons. There are 2x, 3x, and even 4 times XP multiplier coupons that last for 30 minutes each. And these ones I would highly recommend using while leveling, questing, or maybe even bossing, and it'll just smooth out your experience and make the overall experience of leveling up much quicker. So use these, especially if they come from events, because they typically do expire. Also, you can level up and make the entire process go by 3 or even 5 times quicker than normal if you have a Mega Burninator, which takes you up to level 150, or is active up to level 150. We also have the Terra Burninators, which are active up to level 200. And lastly, we have the Hyper and Hyper Burning Max coupons. And this just makes it so that every time you level up, you actually level up multiple times. So this is going to expedite your leveling process by a ton. It's going to save you hours and hours. So if any of those coupons I just mentioned are available, then I would highly recommend using them to either skip the first half, second half, or the entire leveling process. And if those coupons are not available, once you get to level 130, you can still skip levels 130 to 200 by using these extreme growth potions. These extreme growth potions are readily given away during events, like you can see here. This is the upcoming event, and they're giving away tons of these potions, and you need roughly 20 to 30 because this is RNG based. Once you have that many, this will take you all the way up from level 130 to 200. In my personal experience, it is around 25 of these potions. These potions can grant you anywhere between 1 and 10 entire levels for free. You just simply drink the potion and you'll level up. It's that easy. So as soon as your character hits level 130, check if you have any of these accessible to your character and try to take as many as you can if you want to expedite the leveling process. So I had to make sure you knew to participate in whatever event you're going on with, because it'll either give you an extra damage boost like this current one, or potentially a big XP increase like the one that's coming up in the winter. I know this is the episode where you're going to be around the appropriate level, so keep that in mind as we continue on. So last time we left off killing our first ever boss being Zakum, and we got to level 100 unlocking our 4th job. Now, since we have a few different buffs, we can actually add them into the new thing called the sequencer. So I'll show you how to make a sequence since we have 3 buffs. So I usually just put a random number like 5 or something, And you have to have a minimum of 3 abilities to do this, so if you don't have 3 abilities, then just wait and maybe eventually you'll get them and you can do this. So just add them to your sequencer, and that's easy enough. We can change the names to potentially like buff, just so I know this is my buff setup, and then we can save it. Now we can move this over to whatever key we want, and instead of having roll the dice, scurvy, and the other skill, we can just press 4 and it does it all almost instantaneously, as you can see. So it saves us a lot of time, makes it really convenient to do in bosses and stuff like that. So that's something that's super nice. If you only have like 1 or 2 skills, you can still try to put them in the old macro list and then put this key somewhere. That could be helpful as it just puts everything in one place, but not everything can be put in here, and also it doesn't remove the time like a sequencer does. So try to make it 3 skills if you can. That being said, we can move on to the next part of the quest lines. So our quest lines are going to be Heliseum, so let's get started on that one. We're going to talk to Nineheart and get through this quest as well, same as all the other quests we've done up until this point. So it's going to take us to a new area, and we're going to try our best to knock it out. Also, we do have the extra teleporter now. We got the hyper teleport rock in our last episode that does last for 24 hours, which is going to be super helpful going through these next sets of quests, because they do have you going to a lot of places which we are going to be able to just kind of skip to and just teleport directly to where we need to go. So we are a little bit into this Heliseum questline, and I just wanted to quickly remind you guys that while you do find gear here and there, make sure that while you find it, you equip it. Make sure to start up, potential it if you need to, especially if you feel like you're lacking damage. Like I just found this pistol, and it's going to take our damage from 26k to an additional now 33k. So that's a huge increase, practically 50% increase just off of finding 1 item. So make sure to do that as you level up, and that'll make your going way easier. And just to quickly show off how useful the teleport rock is, I got teleported here for the questline to kill some mobs, and typically I would have to run back through first the Savage Dog Forest, then back to town. And this is going to be true because you get taken all over through these maps, and typically you have to return back to town. So instead of that, knowing I got to go back to town, I could just teleport here and save myself so much time walking around. It really is super useful. It sucks that I had to wait so long to get it, and if you can get it earlier, I'd highly recommend that. I wish I could have given that advice a little bit sooner in our journey, but I can only remember what I'm dealing with currently, unfortunately. I didn't think about how some people might have the extra 5 mil right away. If you do, don't make the same mistake as me. Start your character off right with a hyper teleport rock. Sounds like an advertisement, but it is very true. So make sure to do that, and I'm going to continue on through this Heliseum questline. This is another type of minigame that you'll come across from time to time in those yellow portals. It's definitely a little goofier, but it actually gives great XP, is pretty good as far as getting you prepared for later on in the game. There's a few of these little dance puzzles later on when you get to bossing, so it kind of prepares you for that, I guess, in a way, but really it's just kind of a little goofy thing to give you some experience. So as you can see, oh, I actually messed that one up. As you can see, it's not too bad, and it actually gives a ton of XP. So we'll see how much we get after this. We played a little bit of chicken. We're at 70%, and this gets us to, there we go, an extra 40% of a level just by playing a bit of chicken. So make sure, like I said, go into those portals whenever you can. That'll make your leveling experience a little bit nicer for sure. Alright, so we just took down Magnus for this quest line, so that pretty much means we are done with the Heliseum quest line. So we're pretty much good to go here. We can talk back to Idea and finish this up. That'll put us at around level 120. Get through this little cutscene, and we can move on to the next area. If you maybe perchance didn't get to level 120, or just didn't like the questline, wanted to stop, I have a few suggestions on some really cool places for like where to go, what to kill, but some of the places actually do require you to have a certain Starforce level. So this is a very common thing as you get to the higher levels. You are going to have to encounter some maps that do require you to have a certain amount of Starforce, and we did go over this in the last couple episodes on Starforcing. So the maps that I'm talking about are going to be back in Maple World, in the Manar Forest, down here. So this is going to be Skynest 3. A really great map, and I honestly generally like staying here until around 120. As you can see, I'm getting 100% bonus XP for being here. But as you can see in the top left, I'm actually not dealing a good amount of damage. If we go to fight these mobs, I literally deal 1 damage and they hit me for 500, which is kind of a lot. If you want to get around this, this is what's called a Starforce map. So this is just generally going to be a good idea, good thing to know going forward, because there's a ton of these maps, anything with a star in the map. So this one requires 15, 15, it says at the top. And these higher ones require a lot, like 70, 70, and 65. The one we're on now doesn't require much at all, it's just 5. So take whatever item you like the most. Typically I'd recommend at least the weapon. Throw it in here and just start up 5 times. So we're going to do that here real quick, just so you can see the difference. If you have more than 5 stars, it's better generally, so just get as many as you feel comfortable with. I don't want to spend too much money on this. And then now, we kill them just like normal. So that's what a Starforce map is. These maps are generally really good maps to train in because they are Starforce required. They actually give really good XP, and as you saw, we're getting 100% more XP because it's a burning map. Now you might be wondering what a burning map is. This exists for all maps, not just Starforce maps. Every single map in the game typically will have a chance to be burning. That means that if someone hasn't played on that map in a long time, it builds up burning, going from 10% to 100%. If you find a map that does have burning, like I found this one here that's 100, eventually it will go down the longer you stay on it. So let's say you've been grinding here for like an hour or 2, it might be down to 30% if you found it at 100. They do go down when you're on it, and they do go up when you're not. It's just an incentive for you to go to that map. So it tries to make the more unpopular maps popular again. And you can use this to your advantage, because this is a great map, but people tend to not train here too much because, well, just generally they're not here a lot, because once you get to 120, it's usually best to just leave. So that's what this star mapping is, as well as burning fields are, and you'll find this from time to time on various maps going forward and throughout the game. So if you ever want to check how many stars you have versus how many stars are in the map, you can look in the top left like I mentioned earlier, or if you go to your character panel, you can see here Starforce right there, and you can see in my additional XP that I'm getting 100% from the burning field, so you can also check that this way as well. Now we're going to go to the next area, and that's going to be Lion King Castle. This is actually a really good quest line because it unlocks a other quest line that can lead to some pretty nice gear if you want to. We're going to get through this just like all the other quests. Go through, except hold down the Y key to get through the quest as fast as possible, and move on to the next one. Luckily we do have the Hyper Teleport Rock, so we can just hit the go now on all of these quests. That's how we're getting through them really fast, and this will allow us to get into the next bit of areas that much quicker. Alright, so we just finished up here on the main quest line for the Von Leon King's Castle. So I just wanted to mention here that the quest that I was talking about for really good gear is back here at Ludin. If you talk to him and continue with the quest that has the brackets Lion King Castle next to it, eventually you will unlock a quest that allows you to turn in 10 pieces of jewelry from Von Leon into Ifya here. If you do that, then Ifya will give you Ifya's ring, which is a pretty good ring. And I'm not doing that here on this character, but if you're a new character, it might be worth it for you. It will take roughly, 10 days of killing the boss, because he is a boss you can only kill once per day in order to actually get the ring. But it is a good ring. It is Starforceable, and it is potentialable, so it might be the best ring you have at the moment, because it is difficult to fill up your ring slots early on. That being said, we are going to move on to the next area for Root Abyss. This is really just a super quick thing. You can skip it here. If you do end up doing it, you actually get like a whole level for free, and it is relatively quick, but I didn't really feel like doing it, so I'm not going to. Generally, what I like to do around this level is you can do some more quest line here. If you see any of these main quest lines, you can do those. But I actually just like to do a little bit of grinding at this point. Now that we have that, we can go to the next area that I wanted to do. But first I have to do a little bit of Starforcing. I don't have a ton of money, so I just want to get a few of my items to level 5 Starforcing. We don't really want to get it too high because we are going to be replacing this gear really soon here. So I actually just want to Starforce my cheapest items. If you are low on money, then you don't need to do this, and there are other places you can train, but I have a little bit of money here. I haven't been giving myself money. This is just what I found while training. So this is as legit as I can possibly make it. We did get lucky with these face and eye accessories, so we'll star all these up to 5 as well. And we do want to get our stars up to, I think, around 25, I think is what we want. Because we're going to go to an area that does require it. And Starforcing can get expensive, that's for sure. So let's see if that's good enough. We got 5, 10, 15, 27. And if you can't count as fast as you'd like, right here, 27. The area we're going to is right down here. So if we go to the Maple map, it's going to be in Ludus Lake, the bottom of the clock tower, and we're going to be in here, Ghost Pirates. So you need 26, and I'm at 27, so that's perfect. Let's head over here. We're going into a secret map. This is a well-known map, but it's technically a secret map. This portal takes us to the top of the map, and then on the right here, in this orange portal, is where we're going. So there we go, burning 100. We should get up to level 130 really quick here. So this is a nice map because you just drop down, kill the mobs, and keep dropping down. Makes it really convenient for leveling. You can easily farm some gear here. And when you're ready to go back up, take the teleporter. There we go. You can see we got a bunch of XP super quick. We're going to do this till at least 130. Maybe longer. We'll see. We'll see how it feels. Alright, so now that we got to 130 from that area, we came back out here to the beginning, and we actually have a little bit of a decision to make. So I leveled up all my stuff just to make sure I'm still on par. And then I actually ended up Starforcing some earrings I found because I thought I was going to go to the next area. You can go to Gatekeepers here, which does require 28 Starforce, and it's a great place to level up and to get gear, and also it'll prepare us for the next area. That being said, there is a good quest line that just came up. So this one is the Temple of Time. This is a pretty chill quest line, very easy, and I think I am going to go do that one instead. But if you want to just continue training, you totally can. For the quest line though, I am going to go over here to the Temple of Time and talk to some of the guys here for this quest. I don't know why it didn't just immediately send me here, but this is the guy for the quest. We can talk to him and get started. It's essentially going to be sending us to each one of these rooms, killing some enemies, and coming back, talking to that same NPC. So I'm doing this little bird game. Make sure to avoid the big birds. You don't want to kill any of those guys. Kill the little birds and you'll get a bunch of XP just like that. One thing I did want to mention while we are doing this quest line is for this quest in particular, you can actually, once you finish it, he just sends you to each room, killing different enemies. You can complete it from here. So you can just complete it from the book itself, and then you can actually get the next one by clicking on the light bulb. So you don't actually have to keep teleporting back and forth. You can simply go on with your day, killing the enemies as you come up to them. This next one is going to be in the next room though, so just that'll save you a little bit of time. It's a little bit of a tip for this particular set of quest lines. So this is now a good a time as any to mention a thing that you'll come across from time to time. So there was a player in this map very briefly, and I kind of crashed him without noticing. So crashing another player simply just means you're going into their map and killing mobs that they could be killing. It really doesn't matter too much early on, but it can be kind of a problem later in the game because you don't really want to do that. It's kind of rude and inconvenient for the player to have to leave because they want to be killing those mobs that you're taking from them. So that's generally what crashing is if you are ever wondering or if someone says it to you. Typically, if you do go into someone's map and you are crashing them, they might ask you to CC. If they ask you to CC, that simply just means change channel. It's kind of an old term, and that's something we looked at before. If you go to your settings menu and you can change channel, go to any of the other channels until hopefully no one is on your channel. As long as you're the only person on the channel, then you are good to go. You're not going to be stealing from anyone, no one's going to complain about you, and it's totally cool. If you do kill some of, someone else's mobs, not a big deal. They might get upset, but, life will go on. Just try to change channels and don't cause too much of an inconvenience. Or, do if you want. I'm just telling you what good etiquette is. Do whatever you find fun in the game, though. So I'm doing this quest line in the Temple of Time, and I came across my inventory, so we got some advanced hunter pouches. These are super, super helpful on an early or new account, so I thought I'd mention it. From doing those Poyo and Fruto portals, you actually get these pouches from time to time. So if you open it, as you can see, I got some mystical cubes, but in one of the ones I just opened, I actually got some mysterious miso pouches. So we can go ahead and open those, and it can have anywhere of up to 5 million miso, so there we go. We didn't get any 5 mil, but we got a bunch of 500Ks and even a 1 mil. So that is going to be super, super helpful and might even make your journey extra easy early on if you get it and you're allowed to teleport even earlier than I was. I thought I'd mention that, as that is definitely something that you're going to want. So we can continue on. We're almost 140, which is going to be our next big breakpoint. Just finished the quest line for the Temple of Time. This gives us access to the Pink Bean questline, which is really nice. And there's a few bosses that I'll mention now that you actually have to do the pre-quest for if you actually want to do. It is kind of annoying and inconvenient the first time around, but it's something everyone has to do at least one time to unlock a boss. The Heliseum questline that we were going through before is actually the one for Magnus, so some of them are actually kind of built into stuff that you're doing already. And you can also get a little bit better of an idea of what stuff you're working on by going into your quest log, going into boss, and you can see we're already working on the Lion King questline from before, the Pink Bean one just now, and Papulatus earlier. And we've already done a ton of the quests for Heliseum. And as you can see, Root Abyss is going to be one of the most important ones that we did go through. So make sure to do the Root Abyss questline. This is the one I skipped at around level 125. It is incredibly important. It gives us access to the Chaos Root Abyss bosses, which are the ones that we're going to be focusing on in this video series: Pierre, Bonbon, Crimson Queen, and Vellum. So make sure to do that quest line and get access to the bosses you want to do. I'd recommend getting access to Magnus, Hela, Papulatus, all of the Root Abyss bosses, potentially Von Leon if you want to. You don't need one for Horntail, which is really nice. Definitely unlock Arcarium, Pink Bean. Cygnus, unfortunately, does require one, and it is a longer quest line that we'll get to later at a higher level. But make sure you unlock all of those pre-quest bosses. And the two optional ones, I would say, or actually I guess a few optional ones, would be Ranmaru. You don't really need it, but you can. It's a very quick quest line. Princess No, a bit of a longer quest line, but she drops a great ring. You might want to consider doing her. And we also have the quest line for Von Leon, like I mentioned earlier. All those are optional, but I would recommend them as well. At least get to them eventually. So those are all the bosses that, all the quest lines that you're going to definitely need to at least pay attention to, and that's also just how you get in access to those bosses, so I thought I'd mention that now, in case you got stuck and were wondering why you can't go into some of the bosses you see me go to in the future. Since we're on the topic of questline, there is one more I really wanted to bring your attention to, being the Afterlands questline. I'm not going to do this. I only do this on characters I really care about, just because it is much longer of a quest line. It takes around 40 minutes. There's plenty of guides. So if you are around level 70 or 80, I forgot what it was, then I would recommend trying it out. If you go to the special content here, you can see it's right here, Afterlands. So as long as you're level 75, you get access to these totems here. These totems are really good, and honestly, just going to be something you're going to want. If you're definitely maining your character, it just gives you a few extra stats that are really nice. They go into these 3 totem slots, so you can equip up to 3 of them at one time. So this is a free extra 21 attack power at all times. And I would highly recommend it if you plan on taking your character seriously or into the end game at all. If not, then it might not be worth it. It does take a lot of time, so I'm not going to be doing it on this character, but the extra damage would be nice going into some content that we're heading to soon. So unfortunately, it did happen to us, and this definitely might happen to you, where you finish your level 140 quest line, but you don't get to 140. It's totally fine. We're going to go and take a little detour and get ourselves to 140 here at the Moon Bunnies in Korean Folktown. This area is, just an aside, one of the best areas to farm level 140 gear in the game. That's why someone is here right now, and we don't want to crash them, so we'll go to a different channel. And it's a great place, a great staple, especially for old school Maplers. This has been in the game for quite some time. And the nice thing is, while we were just sitting here killing these moon bunnies, we were able to complete the quest that was here. And on top of that, we got a full set of Pensilir gear. Hey everyone, this is me from the future. I realized I did a really poor job of trying to describe what flaming is when it comes to gear. So I want to take a minute and try my best to explain this. But just keep in mind that flaming, potentialing, and starforcing are the three ways that you upgrade a piece of gear. And it's honestly really difficult to encompass all the things you need to know about these three topics. And you can also easily end up more confused at the end of the explanation than before if I go too long or try to introduce things that aren't too relevant for you at the time. I would highly recommend checking out videos on what each of those things are. Again, starforcing, potentialing, and flaming. All three of those aspects, I'm sure you can find videos and gear progression guides that include more details on those, or you can go look up on the wiki if you want a really detailed answer. That's going to make it so much easier instead of me being here trying to tell you all the different variations of things you're going to want to look for. But I'll do my best to try to give you a good understanding of what type of flames and what flames are, what to look for when you are finding gear from bosses. So the thing we're going to be looking at here is going to be this Mechanator Pendant. First off, there's two different types of flaming. There are flame advantaged items and non-flame advantaged items. Typically, non-flame advantaged items like the Pensilir set we were just looking at that comes from random mobs, that is not flame advantage. An easy way to tell is just by how low or high the entire flame of the item is. So the Pensilir gloves here, these are the ones that I've actually been using since that little flashback at level 140. These are the same ones, so they can definitely get the job done, but as you can see, the green number next to dexterity, the main stat is the only thing we care about, so even though it has the green number next to strength, that's not really important to us. So these gloves have plus 16 dexterity. Let's show what a flame advantage item looks like. That's going to be this Mechanator Pendant. As you can see, it has plus 59 dexterity and 5% all stat, which is a lot more than the plus 16. And there is a wiki page dedicated to all of the items that are flamed or not flame advantage, so you can take a look there. And generally, I'm going to try and point you towards items that are flame advantage. For instance, all of these items from Von Leon, Chaos Horntail, Arcarium, and also Pink Bean, all of these ones right here are flame advantage. So just make sure to keep that in mind and look for items that do have flame advantage, because typically they can roll really high flames. And what is a really high flame? Well, that's going to be out of the scope of this video, so like I said, look for videos like that if you are more interested. But a general rule of thumb, and trust me, I know this is kind of inaccurate, but for a new player, just try and look for items that have between 20 and 50 of your main stat. So like mine here is 59, which is really good. And also try to look for something that has between 3 and 5% of your all stat. If you can get 6%, that's great, but I'm just giving you general ballpark numbers for what you're looking for. For instance, all of these other pieces of gear that I have 5% all stat, no main stat, so not the best there. This is really bad, it's only 3% all stat, unfortunately. And this one right here is getting more in that range that we mentioned earlier of 24 main stat and 4% all stat. And our chest here is another great example of just settling for something that is better than nothing, because this is only 40 main stat, no all stat at all. So as you can see, the range and variance of all of these flames are very, very different. Just try to look for something that has a good amount of main stat with a little bit of all stat, and you should generally be good to go. Keep in mind, we are just getting this gear good enough to fight Chaos Root Abyss. That's why I'm not going too far into the weeds, because you don't need to know too much more to get to where we want to go. Hopefully that made this a little bit simpler and made it so that you know that all of the Pensilir gear we're looking for just a little bit of main stat on, not too much expectation. But as we move into bosses, we're going to look for items with a little bit more main stat and a little bit more all stat. And as you build up your pieces of gear, hopefully you'll get some more pieces with decent enough flames, like this belt that I picked up and this necklace that I picked up, to even out the other pieces that don't have the best flames. Lastly, you might be wondering how to alter or change the flames on a piece of gear. It's pretty simple. You can go to almost any merchant, like this one here in Ep3, buy a powerful rebirth flame, or find the different flames from bosses, like this red flame. There's white and there's also black flames. And you can simply put that on the piece of gear to change the flame to something else, and maybe you'll land on something you want. So with our newfound gear, our damage is at 52k. Something else we need to go into real quick is a few other things you unlock at level 140. So this is going to be Hyperstats. This is something you literally unlock at 140 just now. You can do these however you like, but generally just try to make sure that your crit is around 100 at least, and then get your crit damage up a little bit. Your ignore enemy defense is going to be important whenever we go into bosses. Try to get it to around 80 to 85. And also damage is generally pretty good for mobbing and bossing. Bossing is of course just for bossing, and normal is just for mobbing. Attack is good all around and will just generally help you, and if you have any extra you can throw it into XP if you do plan on leveling your character for a good amount of time. As far as epic ability goes, this is your inner ability. Your inner ability you unlock much earlier, but you need honor XP to reroll it, and you typically get that from bosses, events, or there is a Sunday event that makes it so this is half price. In order to get this to where you want it to be, you want to get it to epic, to unique, and then up to legendary. So the way you do that is simply by going in here, clicking reset ability, confirming, and then doing that over and over again. Eventually you will get lucky enough and it will go up to unique and then legendary, and then you'll be on the hunt for what you're looking for. And what you're looking for is variable. It really does depend on your class at this point, and there's no way I can know what you're going to need for your class. I don't even know what I need for my class. So you can get myriad of different results here. If you want to go for a good inner ability, or if you need help with your hyperstat, or we're about to take a look in a second, if you need help with your hyper skills and what to select for your passives, all of these things can be answered in your channel Discord, your Discord for your class. If you've never used Discord, this is just a way for people to communicate with one another. It's like a chat room mixed with a community, mixed with a voice channel. So this is what you're looking for, the master list for all the Discords. This is going to have every Discord for every class, and I'd highly recommend going through this for your class and logging into your Discord and getting joined up for the class Discord that you're participating in. For me, it's going to be Corsair this time. So definitely take a good look. Don't ask questions without doing at least a little bit of research, and a lot of classes have a Google Doc, so you can just simply go to the Google Doc, and this has everything you might need to know about the Corsair. So I'm about to do a little bit of research and find out what I need for my inner ability. So we want to get it to legendary, and we want to make sure that we have the best thing for bossing. That's going to be our main focus. So go to increased number of enemies hit, cooldown skip, and boss damage. If we want to, we can settle for boss damage, cooldown skip, and abnormal monster damage. All of this stuff is going to be super important to know, so make sure to read through the entire document depending on how serious you want to take your class or not. Alright, we are back from reading up on the class, and it generally seems like we want to take as many brain scrambler things as possible. I am going to take this double down one though first, because this is going to make it a lot nicer for training, which we are going to be doing for a little bit longer, and you can reset these for just a bit of meso. And just like that, we got up to unique. We're just continually resetting this ability. I'm actually going to be stopping right here though. If I got boss damage or abnormal attack status damage, then I was going to stop, just because I typically only like leveling this up to legendary and searching for the one that I want whenever there is a Sunny Sunday event that makes it half price. And with our newfound damage of 50,000, we're going to go and try to do some bosses. Hey, there we go. So we took down the boss, Magnus, and we were rewarded with a shoulder piece. That's going to be a free damage upgrade right there. Obviously, this is a little bit easier for me because of all the buffs and upgrades I have through my links in Legion. If you're struggling, yet again, just make sure to level up your Pensilir gear with any extra money you might have. Just get a few stars on all of them, and it should make it a little bit easier. Or ask a friend in a guild, which is a good time to segue into the guilds. For me, this is on the dash or minus keybind, but if not, just go into your settings and look up guild right here. Now, I'd recommend joining any guild that will take you, honestly. I've been in guilds that are level 15 that are great, and guilds that are 30 that are not so great, so really just take your pick and hopefully you find a good one. Whether you're looking for something that's more community-based or bossing-based, mule-based, or main-based, it's really up to you on what you're looking for. And join up, see if you like it. If not, there's no real big deal if you end up leaving and finding a new one. Some of them do have requirements though, so make sure to keep that in mind. So like this one says they're looking for people that'll do things for them to improve the guild, like Culver and Flag, which is something we'll get into later on. There's definitely advantages to being in a guild, so I'd recommend getting into one sooner than later, especially as we get into bossing. Now that you know everything there is to be at 140, there's kind of a lot to go over, so if you get overwhelmed, it's totally understandable. Try to go over this part of the video again, and if I missed anything, as always, ask me down below. So this is a really good stopping point for any alternate character. You can get him to this level and stop if you want. This would be great because it still adds to the power of your account without taking up too much of your time. A good strategy is if you want to make a bunch of Legion specific characters like Lynx and Legion, you can get a bunch of characters, let's say 10 or so, to level 140 just like I did here. Each of them will take you a few hours, but they'll get faster as you continue to do them. You can leave them at this level and they'll give you a great amount of extra power and stuff like that for not much investment. As you can see, we didn't really spend any money. We actually ended up making money. And now we have a new addition to our Legion. At this point in the game, you're definitely going to want to decide on how much you liked your experience on this character. Did you like him enough to continue? Did you like him enough to make him your main? Or are you kind of just dreading going another level? At this point in time, I think it's a really good idea to assess where you are as far as that goes, and decide on whether if you want to go with another character or continue on with your own. Like I said before, no shame in changing your mind in this game. Everything helps you in the future, so if the case is that you hate every second of it, then go ahead. Make a new character, something that looks cool. Maybe you like a big dragon like this guy. Then, go ahead. You can be them. You can try out other people's classes. It's not a big deal. We're going to continue on with this character, but this is a great crossroads to stop at, see where you're at, and adjust as needed. I'm still going to be here. This video is still going to be here. Hopefully it helped you. And if you decided to change characters, come back whenever you catch up. So that's going to be it. And I'll see you in the next one.